Hello. Hello. Let's wait for everyone to get into the room and then we're going to have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about the fact that men and women both are looking for different things. And this is no slight to men because that's not this page. This is not a page where I have to devalue men in order to empower women. But I do like to talk about the perspective, the masculine perspective, the feminine perspective. So let's talk about love first. One of the things when it comes to love is if you've been watching me for a while, you already know I believe in growing in love. I believe in growing in love. I don't too much believe in this falling in love. I don't believe in the emotion of it all because I know the masculine and the feminine, they view it differently in the first place. So, men, most men are not looking for love in the manner that you are looking for love. And that's where the disconnect is happening at. If you watch one of my videos, you know that when it comes to love, a man's idea of love and his perception of it is attached to what he's created. If a man is in a space of building, he is logically looking for love, which means he's looking for someone who's going to do, who's going to help build, who's going to help him create that empire. If a man is in a space where he has built his empire, this means he has the space and the ability to want love in the manner he's viewing it as, which means he's willing to provide for that woman. The masculine perspective already understands the concept of they come into the world having to build their value. Women come into the world with value. And since women come into the world with value, we look at love as with romantic love, romantic ideals. We look at love as though he is giving me flowers, he's giving me gifts, he is taking me on trips, words. We look at love in a romantic perspective, where men are looking at love as action. And this is the reason why some women don't even recognize when a man love them. Some women can't recognize when they may love them because of the fact that men look at love as doing. When I have these conversations with the men in my family or my husband, one of the things that he loves to tell me is that if a man is unwilling to make your life better, provide, and protect, he cannot possibly love you. Because when it comes down to the masculine perspective of love, love is sacrifice, love is doing, and love is building. So if you are in a relationship with the man and only thing he wants to provide for you is flowers, gifts, trips, and words, that isn't the masculine ideal of love. He's literally coming to you his own feminine version of it. So that is another way to clue you in that you're dealing with a man who is feminine. And we have to be able to recognize this because when it comes down to it, women have to, most women are left holding the bag, regardless if it is a relationship that is, if the relationship is healthy, if the relationship is ease and leisure, people are looking at the woman as the ideal of what the relationship is and where it is currently. Women, they're looking at the woman if he leaves her. They're looking at the woman if she has babies by him. They're looking at the woman and say, "Oh, why you didn't know this? Why weren't you aware?" It's the basically the writing is on the wall. Why didn't you see it? So since we're going to take the biggest risk, you need to go for the biggest bag. When it comes down to it, love is viewed differently from the feminine perspective and the masculine perspective. We have to realize the feminine perspective is looking at it through a romantic lens. You all, and guess what? I don't have anything, I don't want anybody to think that I have anything against gifts, flowers, trips, words. I don't have anything against that. But I know if that's the only thing that's being offered from a man, then that man cannot possibly love you, or he is looking at you from a logical perspective. He's looking at you as a woman who can help him build, a woman who can help him build the empire, a woman who can add to what he's currently building so that he can have the empire. And we have to actually be able to recognize this. But the love is looked differently. And I think the more that I'm on social media, one of the things I keep noticing that most the femininity teachers and instructors and people who teach that side of YouTube or social media platforms, they are actually creating a whole different space where women actually are scared to say no. Women are scared to say no, scared to tell a guy or tell a man that it's no. Women are scared of these things due to the fact that they have been taught as a little girl. One of the things that you've been taught as a little girl is to be nice and to be concerned about people's feelings, where men have been taught to win at all cost. Okay, and that is there's so many differences between the masculine and feminine perspective. But this here of you can't say no, you can't be assertive, you can't stand your ground, you can't tell him what you truly desire. That is definitely not in the feminine perspective realm. Feminine women have no problem with saying no. No is absolutely a sentence. You do not have to go and explain yourself. You do not have to worry about that person's feelings. You do not have to go into detail. You do not have to do anything other than say no. Stop thinking you're not being feminine when you say no and you stand your ground. Stop thinking you're not being feminine when you're assertive, when you know what you want. I didn't realize that so many different femininity teachings out here has made women truly believe that they don't have a right to say no, they can't stand their ground, they can't ask for what they want. And that is weird to me, knowing what I know about femininity, that the feminine aspect of it all realizes that you are going to be held accountable for your actions no matter what happens in your life. Usually a lot of times they're looking at the woman. Didn't you know? Didn't you see it coming? Weren't you aware? And if all of those things are going to be bombarding you daily, why not go out here and make sure that you can get what you want out of your life? You only live one. You only live one life. You don't get multiple lives. Well, unless there's something I don't know. I don't know everything. I am not the end or the beginning. I have no idea. Maybe there is and maybe there isn't. But I'm going off the information I currently have. And that means it's only one life to live. So we cannot walk around saying we're being masculine if we say no. We cannot walk around saying we're being masculine if we stand our ground. I've even seen videos where some women are being taught that you have to be submissive in a marriage. Oh, excuse me, not a marriage, a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. And you all know how I feel about a girlfriend and boyfriend relationship. Girlfriend and boyfriend relationships are not relationships. They truly have no power. So to actually be submissive in one is ludicrous. And the people who are teaching that shouldn't even have a platform. But as we know, on social media, anyone can push a button and say that they know this, and someone will show up and allow them to speak. But when it comes down to it, men and women are looking at love differently. He is literally looking at love where his love is connected to his value. If I want to make it very easy for you to have an understanding of what I'm saying, so that when you go out here in your real life, you'll get the results that you desire. His love is connected to his value, because when it comes down to a man, men's idea of love is doing. And since love is doing, if he is doing for you, then he loves you. If he isn't doing for you, then he doesn't. It's just that simple. And we don't need to complicate it. I don't need to sit up here and, give pretty words and analogies. I really want to make it very clear to you. When it comes down to it, since men look at love as action, as doing, as building, they will do for you. Which means if your man is sitting at home on the couch playing a video game and he refused to get a job, and he's allowing you to go out in the world and get it all on your own, to hustle and grind, he doesn't love you. It's just that simple and just that easy. And I think at this point, we need to start I need to be very direct in my approach and letting you know these situations so you don't have any confusion surrounding this. When you talk to a man that loves the person he's with, He is doing for her, which means he's making sure she has a roof over her head, which means he's making sure there's food on the table, which means he's going out into the world and providing, which means he's making sure his hands get dirty and yours doesn't. That is doing. He may not be the guy that's always constantly saying it all the time. I love you. I love you. I love you. He may not even be the guy that's constantly bringing you flowers. He may not even be the guy that's constantly creating candlelight dinners and, taking you on these expensive, elaborate dates. But baby, let me tell you what he will do. He will go out in the world and get dirty and get it out the mud. He will go out there and make sure your hands look like this, and his hands are a little smudged, a little dirty, and his nails are chipped. But because men look at love as doing. They do not look at love in the manner that we look at love. One of the reasons that men have changed and flipped the script and started doing all these extra extravagant things for women is because they've realized that since a woman is looking at love in this manner, all we got to do in order to trick and deceive her is to start giving her flowers, is to start sending her candy, is to start whispering in her ears. Since he knows he can do that and get away with it, men will use that. And they'll have you out here working, grinding, and hustling right beside him. But let me tell you this, when a man loves you, he will do for you. He will do for his children. He will not allow you all to live in lack. He will not allow you all to starve. He will not allow you all to be homeless. He will not allow you all to experience the worst of it. When a man loves a woman, he'll cover her. He will cover her. And I mean, when I say cover her, he's not just going to cover her by going out to work. He will cover her in her sensibilities. He will cover her in her emotional needs. He will cover her and make sure that he's given to her in that manner. Yes, as the time go on within the relationship and you all continue to grow in love, then yes, he doesn't mind going out here and getting flowers and creating extravagant dates and giving you gifts and taking you shopping and doing all these wonderful things that women view as love. Women are so easy. Women are so easy to deceive, especially if you had men in your life if you were to sit down and really talk and have a heart-to-heart with a man who's in love, or maybe a man who loves you and he wants you to know the gist of it all. He wants you to be know the real of love when it comes from men. If you're getting around a man and the only thing he can tell you is the feminine perspective of love, then you know he doesn't love you in the manner that you want to be loved. And that's another way to test, vet, question, and observe. As one of the things that I tell women to do. We have to realize that a man's love is connected to where he is in life. And you can look at that. If we stop looking for all these extras like flowers, gifts, money, trips first, and all these things, well, not money, because you better check to make sure he has and is financially secure. But if you start looking at all those things first and pay attention to where he is currently in his life, you can see what kind of version of the love he's going to give you. If this man is currently at, let's say, some minimum wage job, he's building his life. He cannot offer you the emotional love that you deserve and the providing you deserve in the first place. So you should not go into that expecting anything different from him. And if you go into accept that, you can't complain about it later. You can't complain about it later. You already realize this man has a minimum wage job. What did you expect? On $10 an hour, he's going to be able to do the most for you? It's not realistic. So we have to actually hold ourselves accountable when we're doing this to ourselves. We're going in, connecting and with men who aren't able to take care of us in the first place. And we expect them to give us that Instagram lifestyle that we see on the social media. It's not realistic. His love is connected to where he currently is and what he's looking for. If he's in the process of building, he can only move logically. If you actually look on social media, you'll learn that I'm telling the truth. Look at social media and the platforms. I don't want to see you all there because I don't like that content. I usually block that content myself. But if you were to look at that content and don't stay there, make sure that if you do look at something, you immediately block it after. But if you look at that content, what are they trying to persuade men to do? They're trying to persuade men to always look at it logically. Why? If you look at it logically, you're going to get someone to help you build. You're going to get someone that's trying to prove to you. You're going to get someone that is that loves you more than you love them. But if you get someone, his love, and he's in that space where he's already built his empire, he has the potential, not the potential, he has the space to even focus on love. He has a space to give to a woman. He has a space to provide for a woman. We need to look at the men that you're dating and look at where they are, and realizing that when it comes to the masculine perspective, a man, he is not looking at love in a romantic way that you are. He's literally looking at love as doing an action. If doing action is not lining up, then he doesn't love you. And that is okay. Sometimes we have to take our L's in peace and move around. You look so good and fresh. Thank you. Good evening. Good afternoon, Pedals Wives. Hello, hello, hello. What that is. I'm a date till engagement. No exclusivity till engagement. Is there such thing as a man who provides but not actually love you? It's a possibility. If a man has already built his empire, maybe he's not interested in that love right now. Maybe he just wants a certain look. He wants a pretty woman on his arms. The thing is, men can't live in this world without us. They may say they can, but if you actually look at their real life, they're always trying to connect with the feminine energy. They're always trying to connect with the woman. Why are they trying to connect with women? Let me answer that for you. The reason men are always trying to connect with feminine energy is because feminine energy gives the masculine energy space to feel, to have emotions. The feminine energy gives a man literally the ability to be able to feel, to explore emotion, to explore feeling sadness, to explore feeling happiness, to explore. He can't do that on his own. Women are conditioned socially in childhood to explore our feelings and understand them. Men are told to suppress them and win. And since they are socially conditioned in that manner, and they were raised in that manner, they always are trying to attach or be around some feminine energy, because feminine energy allows them to feel, allows them to explore emotions, allows them to be themselves and not have to put on the facade of being tough, getting it done or winning. And competition. They don't have to be in competition with the feminine energy. And they know this. So they always are going to be searching to be near that feminine energy. But it's absolutely possible for a guy that can provide, not love you. In the beginning, and people hate when I say this, but I'm going to have to be truthful. I like truth. I can't do it. I can't do this any other way. He's not going to love you in the beginning. When a man is providing, he is not going to love you in the manner you think love is. If he's willing to give you his last name, willing to go out here and get it out of the mud, and do the things to make sure that you're comfortable, to him, that is love. Yes, it will grow deeper once he start growing in love with you, but he doesn't love you in the manner that you women are looking for in the beginning. He doesn't. And most women don't like when I say that, but it's the truth. When you're dealing with a man who can provide and he has his stuff together, he may be infatuated with you. He may lust after you, but he is not totally in love with you, even when he proposed sometimes. A lot of times he's picked you because you basically check off all his boxes for lifestyle, the type of feminine energy he's looking for. You give him comfort, you give him peace. You're going to be the perfect person to give him space to feel. And that's what he's looking for. And he will grow in love with you as the relationship gets deeper. But we have to realize that masculine is looking at love differently. Feminine is looking at love differently. Women look at love in a romantic way. Men look at love in action. They look at it as though love is an action. You should be doing something for it. You should be earning something for it. You should be proving something for it. If you're not doing that, then that person, if that man isn't doing that, he cannot possibly love you. And I think that's where women get confused, because a man will marry you and not love you on both sides of the fence. He will not love you when he's building logically. He cannot also not love you when he's building emotionally. It can both sides of the fence. He could possibly not love you. But it's one of those things that most women want. We want it all. Like I said before, most women are greedy, and that is okay. That is okay. I think one of the things that women have to do, we have to do our due diligence. And instead of relying on love to play its way out and relying on a whole bunch of feelings and emotions, I think we have to start relying and being very logical in our movements and making sure that we're vetting, testing, observing, and questioning so that we're going to get the best deal out of it all. Because when it comes down to it, you can be blamed for everything. Women get left holding the bag all the time. And if you're going to be left holding the bag, make sure that bag is worth holding. I'm in a year-long relationship. I'm 36F and female, and he's 33. We're in a long distance relationship. He pays most of my bills and takes care of me emotionally. Does it seem like he loves me? He pays most of your bills, and you are 36 and he's 33. I don't like that dynamic, because one of the things that when you're dealing with a relationship where the woman is older than he is, you got to realize men are programmed to want to be around youth, fertility, and beauty. So this is the reason why it is always better to marry a man who's older than you. And honestly, I don't trust long distance relationships, because when it comes down to it, if a man wants to, he will. Which means if he wants to be serious about you, he would not continue in a long distance relationship. It would not last past between 6 months to a year. If this relationship is gone beyond that, I would start looking and moving around. And honestly, if this is a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, you should not waste your time. You should currently be dating other men that's going to qualify, especially if you want to get married. Now, if you don't want to get married and you want to have fun, because there are women out here who just want to have fun, then, go ahead and have fun. But if you want to get married, you have to move strategically. You cannot give all your time to one man when you're trying to get married. Of course, I would need no more information about that. But even in this, when you write in my chat, I've already realizing that there's some confusion. You already pretty much know the answer to this. You've already been feeling like something's off, and you just wanted confirmation. Yes, we see it different. We do. We see, y'all, when it comes down to men even see relationships differently. Think about it. When you're on a date with a man and you ask him, do you see yourself wanting to be in a relationship? He's going to say yes. You know why? Because in his mind, he's thinking a relationship. But for him, it could mean a multitude of things. He could be thinking, oh, I want to have a friends with benefits. Oh, I just want to sleep with you. In a man's mind, that is a relationship. Women think of relationship as commitment, as it's going to progress and I'm going to be able to possibly get married. Men are not thinking in that manner. The thing is, I don't fault men. I just realized that there's a disconnect. Men and women think differently, and we assume that the person across from us is thinking the same way that we are. And that's not correct. You should never, ever, ever think that the person is thinking the same way that you're thinking. That's the reason why I do a lot when it comes down to, if I'm going to explain a thought on social media, I'm going to explain it. Because I could be saying, hey, love looks like this. And if I don't go into detail of what it looks like, you all could think love looks like how you think it looks like. And men think differently than women. So you should always take that and realize they think differently than I do. So I'm saying, do you want a relationship? He said, yes. What does that look like to you? And all it takes sometimes is a follow-up question. That's usually what women are missing, is the follow-up question. You don't get him to explain himself. You don't get him to clarify, and you should be. If he's saying that he loves you, what does that look like? If he's saying, I want a relationship, what does that look like? If he's saying, I think we should date 2 years or whatever, what does that look like? And you need to know that, because of the fact that you may be thinking, oh, it only means 6 months. because that's what you think. That's what you believe a relationship is, or that's what you believe should have progress behind it. And he's over there sitting here and thinking about a friends with benefits. He's over there thinking about y'all gonna be buddies and just sleep around. And that's how men think. We have to realize they don't think like us. Their biology is different. They have been raised differently. And since they don't think like us, we have to actually clarify and stop believing or thinking that he's going to move in the same way that we would move. And I think that's the biggest downfall that women have. And then once it happens and we realize we're looking at the entire relationship, we realize that, oh, his idea of a relationship is us just sleeping around. He's sleeping with everybody. I sleep with him only. That's his idea of a relationship. So we have to actually clarify. Follow-up questions are important. Follow-up questions are important. We can't, y'all have to let go of this idea that the feminine is submissive and agreeable and, not willing to speak up for herself. You have to realize there's so many aspects to feminine energy. You were literally created to not only be an asset, but also be able to stand your ground and say no. You were created for these things. And I think also that comes with having rules and requirements and standards. We should not be giving everything away so easily without any requirements. Everything requires strings. If you watch my Ultimate Feminine Receiver, I talk about how everything requires strings, and that is important for a feminine woman. It is important that you start requiring having certain standards before you give it out. Because once you give it out, you cannot go back to it and say, hey, this is what I want with what I've given out. It doesn't work that way. About marriage, and he says he wants to, it's just a matter of being a surprise. I'm going to tell you with all love and light, I don't trust this because you don't trust it. I don't trust it because you don't trust it. You know why? It's because of the fact that there's confusion surrounding it, and you have a lot of questions surrounding the relationship. And since you don't trust it, I don't trust it. And I think since you don't trust it, you should lean to your own understanding because you already have the answer. You know, looking at the progression of your relationship, that this man is not probably going to follow through. Look at his actions. Look at what he has done versus what he has said. Exactly. A relationship can mean anything to a man. It can. It can. You will be surprised how many women get tricked because they're thinking, oh, he wants a relationship. I do too. And his idea of a relationship is something else. And even when it comes down to love, even though a masculine perspective, a masculine energy man is always going to look at love as an actionable thing, you need to ask him, what does that look like to you? Like if you are in love, what does that look like to you? Or the last time you experienced love, what really stood out to you? You all have to learn to ask the follow-up questions that's going to clarify it for you. So there is no confusion. There is no you adding to it, because we are, when it comes down to being co-creators of the world, we also have the ability to create fantasy and lie to ourselves. And I don't want you to get stuck there. Yep. Rotational and roster dating. Absolutely. Follow-up questions. What does that look like? What do you mean by that? Can you please explain or give me an example? Absolutely. Absolutely. You need to use follow-up questions. You need to clarify. You have to realize it's just like he's over there speaking his language and you're over here trying to interpret the language that he's giving you. There's a language disconnect. And we need to realize that a lot of women have not had that training or haven't had women around them that say, hey, when a man say this is what he means. When a man do this is what it means. And I know y'all like, that sounds frustrating, but eventually it gets easier over time. Once you truly understand what he's truly saying to you and you're able to read him very easily, it requires no energy, but you have to learn first. Say no. Don't forget to like the video. Please make sure you like the video. I'm so happy with the growth of the channel. Thank you so much, ladies, for showing up. Thank you, Pedestal Wise, for being in the building. I appreciate you so much. Like. If you want other women to have access to this information, we do have to like the video. We do have to comment on the video, because I think it's very important that men and women realize that there is a disconnect. Men are saying one thing and women are saying another. And since women are only seeing it from their own perception, their own childhood, their own wounds, they're only seeing it from their direction. They don't understand that men are seeing it and saying it and moving in a different direction. And we need to clarify this. Remember, love for a man, and I'm not just gonna, how about this? I'm gonna clarify also man. Because if you were to get around a feminine energy man, love is gonna look like your idea of love. If you were to get around a masculine energy man, love is going to be actionable, it's going to be doing, it's going to be proving, because they believe that with love requires doing. Because everything about masculine energy is doing, it is moving, it is proving. This is how you differentiate from the masculine and the feminine. So if you run into a man, he's like, oh, love for me is like walks on the beach, candlelight dinners, under the stars, and you hear stuff like that, that's feminine energy. Because that's your ideal love, right? That's your ideal love. Beautiful words, your idea of love. Beautiful settings, your ideal love. That is not a masculine energy's idea of love. Absolutely. So we have to realize we're both speaking a different language. And a man's love is connected to where he's currently in life. If he's in the building stage, realize he has no space to be wanting to get with a woman that is, he doesn't have the space to get the woman he wants at that time. Like, I just want to be truthful and direct to that. He doesn't have the space to get the woman that he wants if he's building. If he has already built the empire, he has the space to get the woman that he truly desires and get the woman that's going to hold space for the emotional aspect of it all. When a man is building, he doesn't care about any of that. He doesn't care about any of that. He would prefer to get the woman who's going to help him build that empire so that he can build value in the world. All men know, and most men know, and you'll see it all over social media. Most men know that they are born with love from their family, but in the world, they hold no value. Most women don't know that they are born with value, and the only thing they need to do is surround themselves with other people who recognize that value. Since men and women are so different, and we have such a big movement to try to say that they are the same and they are similar, that's the reason why this information has been lost. But that's one of the things I want my page to do, is actually get to the real of it and be very direct. No googly woo, or none of the stuff that's going to complicate the issue and the situation, so that you all can move differently in your real life. But men and women, they view love differently. Women, and then honestly, I want to give you some encouragement here before we get ready to end the live stream. Women, there's nothing wrong with you desiring or having these emotions or wanting the love of another human being or wanting connections and relationships. We were literally raised to want these things. We're really socially conditioned to want and desire these things in our life. So there's nothing wrong with it. I just want you all to temper it with a little logic. I want you to temper it with a little vetting. I want you to temper it with questions. I want you to temper it with observations. These things will make sure that when you're going out into the world, you'll be able to have your light shine, and people who recognize that value will gravitate towards you. But if you can constantly put yourself in a position or a space where you're always proving, where you're always running, where you're always doing, where you're always building, where you're always doing these things, it's hard to recognize the people who see value in you. Many women see things differently, and it's a wonderful thing. We were definitely made to be different, but fit into the same puzzle. And that is okay. I don't want any woman to get off my live stream and think there's something wrong with her because she wants it all or she desires love. I just want you to have a better idea of what that looks like so you don't go out here searching and doing the things that the masculine energy is supposed to do. He is supposed to go out here and do, prove, and put the action behind his words in that manner versus what the feminine energy is supposed to be. There's power in a feminine energy woman being and realizing that she brings value to the world. The only thing has to happen is people to recognize her light and her value. Some women are just doing too much, and we need to stop. So hopefully that this live stream helped you, and now you have a better understanding of why masculine and feminine energy see and view love differently. And realizing how you can use this to vet. You can literally be on dates. And if this guy when he talks about love, it sounds similar. It resonates because it's feminine energy. It's something that you dreamed about. It's something that you think about. It's something that you have talked about to your girlfriends. Then you know that this is not the right guy from you. Unless you're not concerned about that feminine and masculine aspect of it all. So it is safe to say from a masculine perspective that love equals money, resource, and provision. Absolutely. That a man cannot possibly love you if he's not willing to do. If he is not willing to get it out the mud, if he's not willing to provide, if he's not willing to protect, if he is not willing to comfort you, if he's not willing to be there for you and make sure that you're good in all aspects of your life, then he cannot possibly love you. Because to a masculine energy man, doing is love. He doesn't see it in the same way that women see it. Women see things totally different. When we think about love, we get all squishy in our chest area. We have all these feelings and emotions. And some of us imagine trips and a whole bunch of gifts and beautiful settings for candlelight dinners and things like that when we think about love. But that is not what men think when they think about love. And you have to realize his love is literally attached to where he is currently in his life. Men know that they have to build value. They know they have to go in the world and create a name for themselves. They know they have to go in the world and build an empire. They know these things. And that's why some men are totally jealous. They are filled with jealousy because you don't have to do anything but be born. Only thing a woman has to do is be born. And she immediately has value. The thing is, you can't allow life to detour you to change your mind, to condition you to believe that you have to build value, because you don't. You don't have to build value as a woman. Yes, you can get better as you get older. You can get wiser as you get older. You can increase your value as you get older. And I've done that video already. It's already on my page if you're interested. But I'm going to go ahead and close this live stream out, and I'm going to see you all on the next one. You all enjoy your Friday. Have a good one. Bye.